But yeah, I've made myself an AFL Fantasy Team, and I've done this for many years now. I think my best finish is in the top 5,000, so I'm not the best at it, but I still like to do it. I think it's quite fun. I do it with my brother, and there will be something that my brother will be involved in. But yeah, we'll get into it, and I'll read through my fantasy team, and I'll put it like a graphic or something up on the screen. But yeah, I just want to go through it. So we'll start with the defenders. I got Sam Doherty, captain for Carlton. Points grabber. He'll be there all season with marks and kicks. Got him as the vice captain on the loophole for round one. Then I got Andy McGrath, had a really good pre-season game, so I'm feeling like he's going to get a little bit more midfield time. I think they have said that he's going to be playing off half-back, but that's fine by me if he gets a lot of touches back there. Got I've got Elliot Yeo as my third defender. A lot of injuries last season. I feel like he's up for a good season here. The Eagles, I think they need some experience in that midfield with Tim Kelly really holding the bulk of the load. So I think Elliot Yeo will be getting a lot of touches. Then we've got a bit of a point of difference is Liam Stocker. So he was a delisted free agent, I believe. Got picked up from Carlton to the Saints. And he's priced at $4.41. But it looks like he's going to get some footy at St Kilda at least earlier on this year. And in the pre-season game against Essendon, he had a pretty good game. So, $4.41, pretty cheap defender. I don't know if anyone else has been picking up Liam Stocker, but I think he's only got what's his pick owned? Yeah, 0.41 owned for Liam Stocker. So, I feel like he could get some good footy in for St Kilda early. And also, this could obviously change because the teams haven't been picked yet. And yeah, when the teams are picked, then my team may change. Anyway, my fifth defender is Charlie Constable. Didn't really play much footy last year for the Gold Coast. Looks like he's going to be playing off half-back this year. He was a former Geelong player. So I'm actually a little bit surprised that they've tried to move him back because, to be honest, he wasn't that much of a good kick at the Geelong. But he's going to be playing half-back this year for the Gold Coast. Hopefully pick up some good touches. And then we've got Eagles recruit in Jinby. It looks like he's going to be a really good defender, midfielder sort of player this year for the West Coast Eagles. I think he was the highest draft pick for the Eagles this year. So I think Jimby's going to be doing good. Now we get to the midfield. Probably my premium player of the whole team is Lockie Neal. Actually hasn't been picked by a lot of teams this season. This so far, only 6.7. I'm tipping Lockie Neal to have a pretty good year. That actually may change because I may change that one because Josh Dunkley's going to be in the Brisbane lineup, and I'll actually get to someone in a minute. But yeah, I feel like Lockie Neal. I'm tipping him for a good year. So, 9.47, pretty high price, but you got to pick a really good midfielder to start your fantasy team. Then I've got Jack McRae. I feel like he's in for a top year. Dunkley gone. I feel like now he's going to take a bulk of that midfield, and he's going to be getting all of those touches. So, roaming around the half-back line, moving forward, I feel Jack McRae's going to have a really good year. Now, this one's a little bit different. I've got Tim Taranto in the midfield. Now, I'll get into why I've done that a little bit later, but I feel like Tim Taranto is up for a good year with Richmond. Actually, interesting fact that Richmond for the last few years have not actually had a player average over 100, but I feel like Tim Taranto is going to buck the trend. He had a beautiful game against, Melbourne in the pre-season game. So I feel like Taranto, he had so many CBAs, so Taranto's up for a good year. Tom Green, I feel like he's up for a top year again. Had a pretty good year last year, especially a good start, but then I feel like now another year older, he's going to be a star in the making. Tom Green, I feel like he's going to have a top year. Jordan De Goey looked like in the preseason game he took a lot of midfield time, so I'm going to be putting him in the team. He's a point of difference as well. I didn't really think that. 3.8, so not that big. But I am a little bit questioning on that one because of Tom Mitchell coming to the team. But I'm going to give Jordan De Goey the benefit of the doubt, and he had a really good preseason game, so yeah, I feel like that's pretty good. James Warple's my next pick. I feel like it was between him and Callahan that I was going to be picking from. I've gone with Warple just on the fact that he did have a really good year a couple of years ago, so he has got some history. Last season, he didn't really play too well, but in the preseason game, it looked like he's going to be getting more midfield time with the departure of Tom Mitchell and O'Meara. Then I got second to last midfielder, Will Ashcroft. We've all seen him, basically rising star in the making. Probably the rising star this year if he stays injury-free. And then we've got Cam McKenzie, who is the recruit from Hawthorn last year in the draft. Had a really good preseason game. I'm tipping him to have a good start to the year. And yeah, I think that's my midfield. We've got the ruck pretty quickly. Rowan Marshall. With the retirement of Ryder, I feel like Marshall's up for a top year. And then Darcy Cameron had a really good end of last year when Grundy got down. got injured, and now Grundy's not there, obviously. I'm picking Darcy Cameron to have a pretty good year. Now we get to the forward line. Stephen Keneally I'll start off with. He had a really good year when he actually went midfield. Hopefully Adam Kingsley, the new coach for the Giants, puts him in there. And I am tipping that Keneally that will happen. So he's my top forward. Then we've got Connor Rozee. As soon as he moved into the midfield last year... Fucking cat. Sorry, guys. Alright. I'm leaving that in. I don't care. I do, but... It's alright. It can't be bothered. Connor Rosee's our fifth forward. Had a really good end last year when he moved into the midfield. Ken Inkley chucked him in there. And from that preseason game, it looks like nothing's going to change. He's going to have a super year. Errol Goulden is my third forward. This is why Tim Taranto is in my midfield, because I had to pick Goulden in this team. Sydney were pretty much full strength midfield-wise in the last preseason game. And Errol Goulden had a blinder. I'm sure you guys have all heard of it by now. But I had to get him in this team. And Errol's up for a top year for Sydney. Then we got Jason Horne-Francis. This may change, but he had a pretty good preseason game for Port. Played a little bit of midfield time. So I'm tipping Horne-Francis to have a good start to the year. Then we got injury-prone Toby McLean. Only played a couple of games last year, and one of them was a final. So his price is really, really low, 401. Didn't have that good a preseason game, but I'm going to tip him to have a good start to the year. He does have history of being a pretty good forward for AFL Fantasy, so I'm giving him a chance. And finally, my forward line rounds up with Harry Sheezel. Had a really good last quarter for North Melbourne in their preseason game off halfback, so I'm tipping Sheezel to have a good start to the year. I feel like he could be one of the big recruits in AFL Fantasy. Now, we're just going to get to the... reserves, and I'm going to tell you now, these are definitely going to change when the teams come out, because obviously I'll be picking the players that are being picked. But Darcy Wilmot came in the finals last year for Brisbane, so giving him a good chance. He looks like he's been playing round one, so giving him a good chance. Miller Bergman, brother of Miles Bergman for Port Adelaide. Bergman, North Melbourne defender, played I think the last half of the preseason game for North Melbourne, so giving him a good shot. Will Phillips for North Melbourne, I've had enough money to put him on the bench. I've got 48k left, so I'm pretty fine at the moment, but obviously things are going to turn around. I'm tipping Will Phillips to have a pretty good year. I'm just putting him on the bench for now, see if I will put him in the team. Chincotta for Carlton had a really good preseason game against the Swans, and I'm picking him to have a pretty good early part of the season. We'll see how he goes. Lockie McAndrew for Sydney. Luke Parker actually mentioned in the Captain's Day that he could be possibly playing... early in the season, so I've picked Lockie McAndrew as my ruck reserve. Luke Pedler looks like he's going to have a pretty significant year for the Crows. And then we got Alan Davey, son of one of the Davies, I can't remember. And then my what's the utility pick is Campbell Chesser. Now that's obviously going to change, and when the teams come out, we'll get a little bit more of a look. But yeah, if you guys... Let me know in the comment section, anyone watching this. Let me know if you think that's a good fantasy team or average or whatever.